Hello, and welcome to another Kickstarter Stress Test, where we look at crowdfunding campaigns, either in Kickstarter or GameFound or whatever, and we, rather than trying to review them or see if we like the game or not, we pretend as if we are the target audience for this product or game or whatever. And then we see if there's anything stopping us from pledging. If there's anything that could either confuse us or, be a turnoff or a red flag, things that are easily missed somehow. And hopefully by pointing those out, you can think about your own campaign and see if you can catch anything similar and maybe give you a new perspective about your own campaign. So I wanted to check this out for a while since it launched. Find the Fun, game design resources by Gabe Barrett, who has the wonderful, I think one of the best Facebook communities for game designers, the Game Design Lab. If you're planning a Kickstarter, you're working on a game, anything that you need, check that group out. Wonderful people. Everyone is always friendly, always helpful, and they give really good insight. Not affiliated or anything. It's just I highly recommend it. And this is an interesting campaign because I know it launched. I didn't see it the first time, and then it wasn't doing so well, and it was canceled. So I'm interested. Maybe we could just even look at that one for a second. Or is it here or in GameFound? I'm not seeing it here. So it might be on GameFound. I'm not 100% sure. But, let's just look at what we have, because that's the point. We're pretending as if we're just random, Kickstarter surfer, or we hear about it somewhere. We get to this page and we're trying to figure out what is this product about. So we'll start with the visual. Okay, the visual, we see a book, Find the Fun. Okay. And then we see a game, Find the Fun. And then we see additional assets, which are interesting. So and then we have this, a book about game design and a game about game design. So I love that this cover is just very, very clear. It's telling us what this product is. We don't know exactly still any details, but we know that this is probably for game designers. Okay, so suppose I'm an upcoming game designer. I have a game that I'm working on, and I have an upcoming, and I want to crowdfund it. And I'm always looking for new resources to help me. So stumbling onto this is like, oh, this looks like what I need, and Find the Fun, game design resources, okay, multiple resources. A book, a game, and other goodies to help you design great games people love. Okay, so this is what I was really missing, is like, what is the outcome of this? Okay, compared to many other board games, which, you're trying to figure out what the experience here is going to be, so you can, put yourself in that experience. Here, it's good that he's giving the result of this product. Help you design great games people love. Okay, so I'm intrigued. I still have many questions, but I want to see what this is about. So let's have a look at the video.
Well, it's my friend Gabe here from the Board Game Design Lab, and thank you so much for checking out this campaign. Back in 2008, when I first got into designing board games as a hobby, there weren't a lot of resources out there, or the ones that were there were not exactly easy to find. And so, starting out, I bumped my head into a lot of things as I made mistakes and just ran into problems and design challenges that I didn't know how to overcome. And I feel like I wandered around in the dark for a while. And it wasn't until many years later, back in, I guess, 2016.
Okay. Pause. Okay. I want to continue watching. It was hard for me to pause, so I'm not bored or anything. This is a great start. This is marketing 101. He's using storytelling as a hook, basically. He started straight away by telling a story about himself and telling about the problems he had and the pains he was experiencing. And immediately, on the 30-second mark, I can know if this is for me. Because if I'm experiencing the same pains he's describing in his personal story, that I could not find the right resources, that I felt like I was fumbling around in the dark, that felt like I was second guessing, I'm already answering these questions by, oh, that's me. That's me. Yes, this is where I'm at. So I'm expecting an answer. That, and it's a story. So I'm also intrigued to know how he solved it. Hopefully there's a good ending to this story, and hopefully maybe I'll be able to learn something. So let's continue.
When I created the Board Game Design Lab, that I thought, we just need more resources out there, more concise and easy to find resources for people like me back in ~08 that just want to get into designing great games that people love. And so when I created the BGDL, that was one of the main one of the main things I was worried about and really wanted to make happen was to just put resources out there for people like yourself that would help you.
People like yourself, right? Okay, pointing right towards the camera. Yes, I'm talking to you. And if you don't feel like you can relate, this is not about you, then click away. it's probably not the product for you. So I'm really into it, and his delivery is great. He's funny, and yeah, I've watched a minute and I'm not bored at the least.
Make great games. And that came in the format of a podcast, which now has over 300 episodes. It was a lot of online resources through the website, and I wanted to create books. And this campaign has a book that is kind of the culmination of all those podcast interviews, all the personal stories and anecdotes and things that I've run into in my own game designing. And it's basically the resource that I wish someone had handed me a bunch of years ago, 15, wow, 14, wow, a long time ago, to say, hey, read this. Here is how you design games, how you make them fun, how you turn them into products that someone actually might want to publish and people in the market would want to buy. I wish I had this resource. And
right now, his offer is in the too good to be true level. As an ideal target audience for this, okay, I've heard of this podcast probably. I might have listened to some of these episodes. I never have time to just go and listen to the whole backlog because I just want the essentials. I want just the tips that will make me successful, that will help me make a successful game. And the offer here is taking all that, how many years? He said 15 years? All that condensed into one book. This is literally a no-brainer offer at this point. I mean, what would you give to trade 15 years of experience into, how long does it take you to read a small book? And I don't even know anything about the game yet, but that is, if you're designing a game, there's no reason you're not getting this book. Really. Unless you, I don't know. You've already done this before. If you feel confident in what you're doing, then you're not interested in this because you're not the target audience. This is so good. The video could have ended here and I would have, just scrolled down. But let's continue.
And it's called Find the Fun, and it's all about how to go from idea to published game on a store shelf. And it's just everything I could think of.
That is a very good marketing tactic, showing the transformation from the beginning to the end. Okay, it's something that I do with my own business as a trailer maker. I try to show the beginning, where you're at. I always try to explore that. Where do you feel now? What's your challenges? And where do you want to go? What's your goal? And then where I can come in and help you get to that goal. But it's important to make these two distinctions so people can realize what they're actually spending money on. Where do they want to go? If you're just making a game and you're not thinking about where you are and where you want to be, then it's hard to progress through that journey. You need that destination. And it's a great, great marketing trick to show those two dichotomies, okay? Where are you at and where you want to be. How could this apply to just regular games? It's showing something you've never experienced before. It's where you start, okay? This is a game about something and this is where you're going to be. And just showing the excitement levels of what the ideal scenario when playing this game can be. But we're okay, it's a little bit different when we're talking about services and products that help you achieve some sort of goal and just a game. Okay, so, but I'll try to refer to both aspects, if that's clear.
to help you make that happen. But it's not just my best advice. I've also reached out to some of the best designers in the world to also get their thoughts, their ideas, their wisdom from their years of experience. And it's people like Reiner Knizia, Richard Garfield, Nikki Valens, Rob Davio, Matt Leacock, and the list goes on.
So what is that, a meme where the guy's like falling back with excitement from his chair? He's literally doing that. Because right now I thought I was getting 15 years. No, I'm getting way more. I'm getting decades of experiences in this one book. And names that I should know.
And on and on. Just some of the best designers on the planet offering little nuggets of wisdom, little nuggets of advice to help you and help me. I've learned a lot in the creation of this book, just learning from them and doing little interviews and kind of getting their thoughts on these different matters. So if that sounds interesting to you, you are in the right place, and please check out everything that the book has to offer down below. And also, as part of this campaign, I've got a little limited edition game called Find the Fun, the game. It's a very clever title, I know, and it's just a fun, fast solo game where you take on the role as an aspiring game designer working on some games, trying to take them to a convention, to pitch them to a publisher, and hopefully get them signed. It's a little bit meta. It's not exactly an educational game.
Really?
It leans way more towards fun than anything else, but
I would say on the contrary. I feel like it's a way for you to... I get that it's probably not an educational game, but it's gamifying the process in a way. It's just turning it to not all just learning and learning and learning. It's just also having fun with it. And it's helping us, reminding us what this is all about. So I understand what he says here. And his delivery is perfect. Because, I'm having a conversation with him, even though it's just a video. He can't really answer.
But it's just been a really enjoyable process of bringing that game to life, and I wanted to offer it up to people that are game designers that I thought would be the perfect target audience for it. And so if that sounds interesting to you, you can check that out as well. And again, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being a game designer, or at least wanting to bring games into the world. I think that's what we need. We're in some weird times, and if the world needs anything, it's more time together around a table. And as game designers, we get to be part of making that happen. We get to be part of the process of bringing people together, which I think is awesome and amazing. And so thank you for wanting to be part of that. But anyway, have a great day, and I cannot wait to see what games you bring to life.
Fantastic. Okay, so that sort of mission statement in the end helps connect with him on an emotional level. I feel like, even though I chatted a bit with Gabe but never had an actual meeting with him, but I feel like I'm connected to this person on a more personal level, having listened to the podcast, having see his posts on social media. And I guess what we can learn from this is there is this sort of rule that if someone can come into contact with you as a person or your brand, but mainly you as a person, in different platforms for an accumulated 7 hours, something like that, then they are starting to make a connection with you that goes beyond, just that random guy on social media, or just it's how we get remember the last celebrity that passed away and you really felt in grief about it? It's just like, when Carrie Fisher passed away, I was devastated. I've never even been in the same country as her at the same time or something like that, but still I felt an emotional connection. It's because I've been exposed and watched her in all these mediums, in my favorite movies, in interviews, in other TV shows, in like just articles about her, or seeing her talk, and the same could happen with smaller things, just like that's why crowdfunding is so great. It gives us the opportunity to connect to our audience in multiple platforms, in multiple ways, for a long period of time, and and basically they invite us into one of their inner circles. Okay, we have multiple circles around us. We have the family, we have the best friends, we have acquaintances, and then we have just people that we know. And that number is around, I think, 1,500 people. is the people that we can put a face and a name to. We don't necessarily know them personally, but we feel like we can identify with them a little bit just by knowing them. And if you can insert yourself into that 1,500 people, people will have more trust and more confidence to buy from you, because you're not just like an unknown entity. So we need to make ourselves available, and that's what Gabe has been doing for the past, more than a decade. Is basically, and obviously he's not doing it because he just wants to sell his shit. It's because it's his true mission. But he's made himself available on Facebook, on social media, on the podcast, and we know his face. We've seen him in different, completely, maybe in conventions and things like that. And by this point, we can know that we can trust him. He'll probably deliver the value that he's promising. So see how you can do that leading up to your campaign. Set up your Facebook groups, interact with the fans, appear on podcasts, on blogs, on whatever you can get, release content on multiple platforms. You want to try to get, like, I'm trying to remember where I read about this equation. It's like the 7-11-4, where you want to get an accumulated 7 hours, 11 different instances, and 4 different locations. And if you can get that, that means they're probably primed to buy. Okay, so we did a lot of talking just around this first page because I think it was just so powerful. You usually don't really need to read anymore to realize this is you. Everything here is fluff on top. But let's get into it. Let's see how much it costs. Going down, do we have the price here? No. Just a bunch of questions and answers. Okay, here we have it a little bit too low, but here we have the digital file, $10. Again, that's like, out of anything, you will probably get the digital file. There's no reason not to. And then Find the Fun is the standard paperback, $20. That is like great value. Yep. And the hardcover, if you want to get something exclusive, you like hardcover books, you can get the 28. And then we have the game, which is $24, and the digital bundle where you could get all the previous books for $20. That is great. That's amazing value. And then you have Find the Fun bundle where you get, okay, the game, the book, and all the previous books for $44. And then you get the sponsorship. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. And you see, it's not pushy at all. You might be afraid to do this with your games, like all these like weird pledge levels, but this is great. This doesn't feel pushy. This makes sense. If this is for your super fans that really know the value, and it's just like this is now investing in yourself in a greater way than you can imagine. But everything here is investing within yourself. And then we have the stretch goals. Okay, so I'm curious what people bought. It's really hard for me to guess this time, so let's see. We have 170, just got the digital, and then the paperback 112, the digital file bundle 70, just the game 14. Yeah, people aren't here for the game. That's why it's like the end of the video. It's like this nice sort of upsell at the end. And then we have the hardcover 56. Yeah, hardcover isn't that special. And then we have the bundle, which is 267 backers. Is that the most? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that would have been my guess. You get all the previous books as digital files, and you get the physical copy of the game and the book. It's a great price point. I mean, this is probably cheaper than most board games, and the value here is absolutely insane. And then now, once we've pledged, because let's be honest, by this point we've pledged already. I'll be pledging for this, by the way. Have no worries. You can really dig in and see exactly what's in here. It's not just like an empty promise. You can actually see the contents of this book. You can see the people who contributed to this, Oh yeah, I've worked with some of them. You see, with Jay and Peter, I've worked with them. I met Rainer Knizia in a convention, which was mind blowing for me. Um, so this is, yeah. Again, here showing the dichotomy from an idea to a published game. We want to get from here to here. The book I wish I knew. It has everything here that was going to the video. I'm really curious to see what was in the previous campaign that failed. I watched his podcast where he talked about he and Andrew from Crowdfunding Nerds. They sort of analyzed what went wrong, and what I could figure out that what went wrong was that the messaging just wasn't clear. There was too much. It wasn't clear what is this product for, because it was too much of the game. It wasn't really clear. Here, it's clearly a book of all his knowledge. Okay? You cannot miss that message. This is a book with all his knowledge. Everything's in that first video. Everything is very clear. And yeah, that, I mean, you can see the success. It's 700 people backing, more than 4 times his funding goal. Wonder what is actual, like, what he was hoping for, but this looks like a very, very healthy campaign. So we can learn from this. Oh, I'm over time. We can learn from this really when our game is more than just a game. If it has some sort of problem it's solving, because that's where you go to classic marketing. Identify the problem, make sure that the audience identifies with it, show the outcome, and then show your plan. Okay, the fact that you have a plan for closing this gap. If you're designing a game, well, you probably should be back in this campaign, and see if you can take some of those lessons into the way you present your game. The setup, okay, where you at the start, the promise, where you can get to, okay, that might be the highest point of conflict or the aha moments in the game, and then the plan, how do you get there? And as you go through the plan, you're giving all these upsells of all these benefits that are included, and that could be pedigree, who worked on this game, or exclusives, or anything like that. That is a great way. That's a great structure to structure your campaign. So I'm very happy for their success and for Gabe's success. And that's all for now. Sure, like, subscribe, and yeah, let me know if you're a game designer, if you have any problems that you're dealing with that you wished you had the answers to. Always having a hard time finding those prompts for the end of the video. All right, overtime. Bye-bye.